On the bench here, we've got a Bernina 1010. The service ticket, this is what I'm doing for work, says the feed dogs aren't lifting and feeding the fabric. So, first things first, I did take the needle out before I turned the camera on, but I'm going to get the presser foot out of the way here and grab my magnet dish. And then the needle plates for Berninas, a lot of them just pop and slide straight off the back, which is really nice. As complicated and sometimes fiddly as Berninas are, they got a lot of cute features sometimes. Get our hook, and I guess this is a class 15 machine. Bernina has thin hooks though, compared to other 15 class. And yeah. So they like to make their hook skinny compared to the fat 15 Singer style hook. But the complaint was these feed dogs are lower, and a lot of controls on these. So they've got the selector up top here, and then width and needle position, and then there's a complete separate buttonhole dial, stitch length, which is a little bit sticky there, so I'm going to have to get inside and maybe try to get some lube on that. So if I hold it down, it'll come down here, but it's not like springing down, and it's slowly moving there. And then this lower control is darning and feed, and then it's got the stretch stitch knob here. Sorry, the outer ring is a stretch stitch, but let's see if I flip this to regular feed. There we go. Our feed dogs popped up. So the official complaint, and this machine needs service anyway, so I'm gonna keep going and get in there, and especially this because look, I push that up, it takes forever for it to slide down. Gonna need to get some oil on this stitch length control anyway, but the complaint they brought it in for was they didn't check their feed position. So whenever you're working on a machine or using your machine and having issues, the reason why everyone always starts with, did you check everything, double check all the stuff, is because even as a service tech, it happens to me, but you know, I get this ticket, the feed dogs aren't working, and I certainly feel bad about charging a customer just because their needle was in backwards, or because they didn't flip the knob on their feed control. So absolutely gonna get in there and from the end, it looks like, because this is a solid body machine, and I've never had one of these open, but I've got an end panel here, and I guess knock some stuff off my bench, and then the back panel here. So let me get set up with a plan for that. Alright, I took a quick study of the back of this 1010, and there's a couple of trim covers that cover a pair of screws. Get those popped off, and now should be able to remove all the screws on the back. Alright, when I turn this carefully, I didn't notice this is a separate trim piece. So, removing that will come in a second, and it feels like there's a screw, must be on the bottom edge of this, because this section here is one piece and that's a separate panel. So, I'm gonna carefully lay this machine down and look for some more screws. Gently laid on its face, this machine has one more screw under here. And now nope, still not just coming off. Pull our lamp switch and our hand wheel out of the way and see if this end panel covers anything up. So the set screw here is a self-tapping screw in plastic, so I'm not removing it because that way I won't have to figure out the threads, because when you've got self-tapping in plastic, you always run a danger of cross-threading the machine and cross-threading the plastic hole and having a problem. So, okay, so this isn't gonna come. I'm gonna have to take the hand wheel off as well, aren't I? Because there's definitely a belt behind this cover. So if I remove the hand wheel, then that'll be out of the way for this side cover to come off. And unfortunately, these self-tapping screws I'm going to have to be careful putting back in so I don't cross-thread them and start stripping the holes out progressively. Aha! There's a screw hiding behind here. Maybe that will be the final screw that lets all of this come off. Okay, now another screw underneath I need to figure out. Alright, I found the last screw on the bottom of this side panel, and the back and side panel do snap together, but I couldn't get them to come apart very carefully until I got the side panel to come too, so I don't necessarily feel like I made a mistake with that, but in the future now I know that they really should come apart, although I don't know if I'll snap this together before I try to put it on or snap together after I start assembling it again. It's always tough because you never know whether you're breaking a tab or something. This machine, somebody clearly was smashing on it or put a box on it or something, because the extendable spool pins, the plastic inserts, are all bent. And I took a quick look at the rear of the main guide here, which is, I'll have to get a close-up, but that's been mashed really badly. I'm going to have to figure out how to straighten that out so that you can actually thread the machine again, because right now this is wedged down and it will just cut your thread if you try to thread the machine. So, alright, now that we're inside here, I thought by taking the back panel off I'd have better access to get... Is this button a hex key? Yes, this button is also a hex key. There. The third secret screw for this rear panel. Okay. Now with all the covers off, do a little cleaning and get in here and oil it. And I'm gonna... oh, right, I'm gonna need to put the clutch nut back in so I can grip and turn the machine easier. Do the same thing we always do, which is try to peer in there and get oil on everything. Alright, we're gonna oil the back side of the 1010 here. This is the back side, and as I rotate it you can see this shaft here moving in and out. That's the drive gear for the hook, and it's run off a crank over here that's just coming into shot here. So we'll get that stuck out and put a drop of oil on it, and then turn the other way and drop of oil on the other end of the shaft. And there's the slide and the crank pin for that. We've got access to the feed gear drive and drop. So oil this. There we go. And now for easier access to lubricate